want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mac, and today our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Phoenix Suns, a team that, quite honestly, the Cavs have not fared well against over the past couple of seasons. If you have been keeping track, the Cavaliers enter today just 3-7 over their last 10 games versus Phoenix. That said, they today in the Donovan Mitchell era, prior to today's game, entered 3-3, so 500 in the Donovan Mitchell era. That's got to count for something. Also, your fun fact of the day: the Cavaliers are now 5-6 after today's victory, all time on New Year's Eve. So it feels really, really good. In fact, in case you were wondering, this team has now won 3 straight games on New Year's Eve. Their last 3 New Year's Eve games, they've emerged victorious. A streak that started with the Chicago Bulls back in 2022, includes the Los Angeles Lakers matchup from just last year. And with today's victory, they have now won their last 3 games on the final day of the calendar year. Now, obviously, this game, it had a little bit, it got my heart pumping at times. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I say this all the live long day, and I've been doing this the last couple of streams. I keep telling you it's going to be a short stream. It's going to be a short stream. It's going to be a short stream. And then I end up here for like an hour. So today obviously is going to be a short stream because of the holiday. I got family. Hell, I'm not even home. As you see, this is not my backdrop. I am not even at home right now, and I wanted to get on here and just talk a little bit about what I saw today, because the Cavaliers, and I pointed this out in the last stream, right? It didn't quite feel necessarily like they were all the way back, but now, right, it does feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers are back. And I think it's because of a couple of key switches that have been made over the last 2 games. Number one, Dean Wade started yet again at the 3. That lineup between Dean Wade in the core 4, right? Darius, Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. That lineup works wonders. It did so right out of the gate. A brilliant first quarter. The second big switch that happened over the last 2 games is Craig Porter Jr. essentially usurping the backup point guard minutes. Listen, I say this as a fan of both Lonzo Ball and Craig Porter Jr. This switch has been for the best. It's just been best for everybody. And Lonzo, for what it's worth, the conversation apparently that he had with Kenny Atkinson, not long term, at least that was the indicator. And right, this is mostly, I think, to reward Craig Porter Jr. for putting in the hard work. But if I'm just being honest with myself, Craig Porter Jr. has earned that role. We may never see Lonzo. I know what coach speak when I see it, right? I know coach speak when I see it. We may never see Lonzo Ball again if Craig Porter Jr. continues to be impactful as he is. Speaking, man, my setup's all messed up over here. I'm going to try and finagle with the camera. But as I'm saying, man, Craig Porter Jr. has earned the job. Craig Porter Jr. has earned the job, in my opinion. I just think Lonzo Ball, from a theoretical standpoint, it has worked in theory, right? And I think that's what they wanted to do with Lonzo, is have him be out there like a playmaking 3-and-D wing. That's what he has been over the last couple of seasons. But this year, the 3 just has not fallen. It just has not fallen for him. And in my opinion, I get to a place where you have to pull the plug. You have to pull the plug on the experiment, not necessarily on the season as a whole, but when one guy is playing his ass off and another guy is clearly struggling with his shot. He's not driving the basketball. He's providing zero dribble penetration. The switch is clear. You got to change it up. And that's what Kenny Atkinson did. And I think that has kind of sparked a lot of what we have seen with this team alongside the switch that Kenny Atkinson made at the starting three position, where we know Jalen Tyson has excelled, where we know Sam Merrill has provided a good amount of impact, where we know DeAndre Hunter began this season at. And speaking of DeAndre, he missed today's game. But for the Cavaliers to go out there and do what they did without DeAndre, without Lonzo being in the lineup right now, I think it tells you that the Cavaliers team are, if they're not back already, they are very, very, very close to being back. And that's an exciting prospect, because this season has not given us, outside of some lone individual performances, there goes my phone again, some lone individual performances, has not given us much to truly be excited about. Honestly, I mean, you've gotten Jalen Tyson breaking out, and Tyson was awesome. I'm trying to fix myself. I'm getting the view here. Jalen Tyson has been flat out awesome. We'll talk about him here in just a second. We've gotten Sam Merrill looking really, really good, probably the best that he has ever, at least prior to the injury. And I know he's kind of trying to work himself back after the hand injury. We've got Naquan Tomlin breaking out a little bit, and some little pieces here and there that have tried to improve, right, or shown improvements, including Craig Porter Jr. But as a unit, we haven't had a whole bunch to truly be excited about for this Cavaliers team. And I think that this win today, the win just the other day, these are exciting things. These are very, very exciting things, because the Cavs, I think we have all speculated that they hadn't played up to their fullest capabilities. And a lot of that simply boiled down to shot making. It is, after all, a make or miss league. And again, this ties into things like Lonzo being one of the worst shooters in basketball. This ties into the lack of dribble penetration, which makes the Cavaliers perimeter offense very, very predictable. This ties into a lot of these different things where the Cavaliers are not playing to their strengths. So when that isn't happening, you know that things are just not going to go well. And as of late, they are. And I know a lot of it is simply just getting guys back, right? As really the only two rotation pieces. And this is being generous, because I know a lot of people don't include Larry in the rotation anymore, and that's fine if you don't. But it's really just Max Strus at this point who is not out there. And when he does come back, there's going to be a lot of tough conversations to be had about who is in the rotation, who is out of the rotation. Should the rotation be expanded? Should minutes be shortened across the board to make way for Strus? There are a lot of different things that are going to be talked about when Max comes back. But these last couple of performances, excluding what we saw in that Houston game, they have been very, very encouraging. Not perfect, but I'd say the matchup against the Knicks, even though they lost that game, that was something from a foundational standpoint and from a confidence standpoint that they walked away feeling encouraged about. In this game against the Suns today, they walked away feeling very, very encouraged that, hey, we can play at a higher level, a much higher level than we have for much of the season. And I think you are starting to see these things play out. And I understand that you have to do it time in and time out. And again, the matchup against the Spurs. And speaking of that, right, Jarrett Allen may have been the catalyst for this all. And, you know, I'm not being entirely serious, obviously. And even with Jarrett finishing with a 16-point, 11 rebound double-double today, and just playing much better basketball as of late. Another game in which he gets 10+ attempts from the field after getting 21 the other day against Wemby and the Spurs. He gets 12 today and finishes a pretty efficient 7-12. The dribble penetration of Craig Porter Jr. has helped with that. Darius Garland looking to feed his guys helps for that. Donovan Mitchell, and I suppose I should highlight Donovan in particular as of right now, that is big time, because you needed that, and you needed that involvement from Jarrett for this offense to become less predictable, for it to become less stagnant. You needed guys to drive into that painted area, collapse the defense, open up some shooters out there, open up the cutting lanes for dump off passes out of and dump off. Guys cutting to the basket and being able to hit Jarrett Allen out of that dunker spot. You have seen that over these last 2 games as these guys, as both bigs honestly have cleaned up in those areas. But Donovan Mitchell in particular was absolutely phenomenal today. 34 points, if I'm not mistaken, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. This dude was highly efficient out there. He played probably his most inspired defense that we have seen in some time. And this is the thing with Donovan a lot of the time, too. Yeah, we know that Donovan can put up a lot of points. But when Donovan scores and then lets the other team score in transition on the other end, just gives it right back up, that takes away a lot from the value that he brings to the table as a piece of offensive firepower out there. And today, especially in that first half, I thought Donovan Mitchell played some of the most inspired defense that we have seen from him in quite some time. And I know from a defensive like box score counting stats, he's not always going to pop off out there. And Donovan would actually finish with 2 steals in a block today, but in addition to the 34, 10, and 7. But I think Donovan himself would tell you that this defensive effort that he is putting in has led to some pretty good offense out there too on the other end, because they're able to get some stops, get out in transition, and get some easy baskets. And you've seen that happen for Donovan. You've seen it happen for Jalen Tyson. You've seen it happen for the bigs. You've seen it happen from top to bottom on the roster. And Donovan Mitchell so often is key in getting that, because when he sets the tone from a defensive standpoint, it kind of feels like the entire team falls in line. As he would finish with 10 of 18, and including 4 or 7 from deep and 10 of 12 from the charity stripe. Him generating so much contact around the rim. That's something that you always love to see. I honestly hope that this trend of Donovan trying to, and the one big stat of this stat line from Donovan that sticks out to me the most is probably the assist, as he led the team in assists today with 7 helpers out there. When Donovan actually leans into being a facilitator and not just passing the ball and trying to get guys and putting them into good looks, right? Get the shot quality that they want to get from possession to possession. When he is using his own on-ball gravity and his dribble drives to open things up for guys out there, especially the bigs, that's when the Cavaliers often play at their highest levels of efficiency out there and effectiveness out there. And it's hard to stop them when they get things going. And I think a point of contention on this season has been the over-reliance on that three-point shot, as Donovan took 7 today, and Darius took 7. Sam was pretty damn good out there, 9 attempts for him. And as a unit, they shot 38 total attempts, but they completed 15 of those 38. That's basically 40% at 39.5. When you don't have this over-reliance, this sheer just overconfidence in your 3-point or perimeter shot, and you instead opt to feed the bigs, opt to use your dribble penetration, because you have a bevy of players that are capable of putting the rock on the floor and attacking and antagonizing an interior defense. And so often the Cavaliers go away from that. But when they do, it often yields really good results. You saw that against the Spurs, in both Spurs matchups, honestly, especially that first one. And you saw it tonight where they scored 56 total paint points to Phoenix's 36. These are the types of things that we want to see from this offense. It doesn't always have to be pace and space out there. Make sure you're getting it to the interior. I don't care if it has to happen out of just a straight up pick and roll action. I don't care if it's just Donovan putting the ball on the floor and attacking inside. I don't care if it's Jarrett Allen dribble handoff. There are so many different ways that you can get the ball into the interior. And with them trying to balance things out a little bit more, that has yielded some really, really good results. And I think some of that does obviously have to do with the personnel, as we've already mentioned, Craig Porter Jr.'s inclusion into the rotation, which might be a full-time switch at this point. That's big-time stuff. And kudos to Kenny Atkinson for doing just that. So I'm very, very happy with what we have seen from top to bottom on this roster. And I would be remiss if I did not point out the fact that Evan Mobley was absolutely a defense. He was just all around nightmare today for Phoenix to handle. As this highlighted his two-way ability out there, as Evan Mobley would finish with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Oh, he's moving the ball out there. But the key highlight to me, the 5 rejections. There was at least one possession out there today where he rejected the shot twice on one singular possession. Now, obviously, you're not going to see Evan Mobley block 5 shots every single game. He's not Wemby out there from, sheer block standpoint. Wemby's the only player in the NBA right now averaging 3+ per game. But this is the reigning defensive player of the year that we are talking about right now. And he is still very, very capable of taking over a game on that end. And Mobley, him still becoming a burgeoning offensive talent, it's just so exciting to see him when he's playing confidently out there. And they're feeding him, getting him into spots that he is more comfortable in, and not necessarily force feeding him the ball from the perimeter and him starting these possessions so far away from the rim. And I get it with the increased utilization rate entering the season. The thought process was you get him comfortable with creating for himself, and you increase the ball handling reps, you increase the usage rate, you increase the touches, all that good stuff. I understand that it could potentially pay off in the long run, especially the playoffs. But the one thing that I will say is that I prefer Mobley getting his buckets around the rim. Yeah, that 3-point shot is great. Yeah, the mid-range shot, that is something we like to see. And we've even seen Jarrett Allen dabble in that over these last couple of games. But he remains a big man. And big men got to play like bigs. So that, to me, these have been really, really key points of emphasis out there, just getting your bigs involved. And I loved it, man, on both ends of the floor for Mobley. Can't be here all night, so I'm going to hop into the chat real quick. Let's see here. HJ17 Gaming says, Happy New Year's, Mac. Jalen Tyson is I can't say that word because of the house that I'm in. Dog. I'm trying to be respectful. Floyd says, Cavs showed up today, hoping for a dominant 2026. Let's go. He also says, are we back? Yeah, it sort of feels that way. And I'm trying to tamper not necessarily my expectations. Those are still high. That's still pretty much finals or bust for me for this current core this year. But as far as my confidence level in the Cavaliers completely changing gears here and getting back on track and locking up a 4 seed, that the confidence is skyrocketing, because these last 2 games have not come against some like below 500 matchups. These 2 latest victories that they have picked up have come against, let's see here, the 2nd seeded team in the Spurs, and I get Phoenix is the 7th seeded team, but it's the Western Conference, right? The 7th seed in the West is not really, in most years, and I'll include this year as well, the 7th seed in the West is probably good enough to be a top 4 seed in most seasons in the Eastern Conference. That's just how it is. That's no disrespect. But these last 2 wins have both come against teams that are above 500. So that has to count for something. So really, really starting to think that they are rounding a corner here, and they have picked up back-to-back victories, and maybe we can string together some in the new year. Neverbloom says, let's go. Soft Taco says, the physicality today was amazing to see. Everyone had some dog in them. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Tyson, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, really the team from top to bottom. There really wasn't a lot that I can look at and say that I was disappointed from a physicality standpoint. So that was really cool to see. Floyd says, a performance we can be proud of. Floyd also says Mac will be on time today. Not necessarily. I feel like I was a few minutes late, but I'm not going to be here too long. Jay Killa says, yeah, we have true. Some dude on Twitter stopped me, says, analytically, the Cavs struggle against any team that goes 10 deep and runs. Chaz Erica says, Happy New Year's, Cavs fans. M&J says, ultimately, if Zoe is going to work with the team that he has to get to transition more of a point forward, get that 3 semi-reliable, play solid defense, move off the ball, set screens. Listen, I'm not ruling out Lonzo Ball re-entering the rotation. I haven't sold my Lonzo Ball stock, but I will say this. As long as Craig Porter Jr. plays the way that he has as of late, we're really all season, not just as of late. As long as Craig Porter Jr. continues to be as impactful as he is, and you will not always see that in the scoring department. But as long as he continues to do what he's doing, that job is his. it is just what it is. Oblonsky says they are back. Jay Killa says, just my opinion. Nicotine says, Kenny just said that Lonzo not playing is by no means permanent. I think it's just saying that to be respectful to Zoe because playing CPJ was clearly the right move. And that's where I'm at right now, right? It's coach speak. You're trying to keep your guys engaged. You're trying not to have Lonzo check out completely. So you're going to say the politically correct thing, whether that is the truth or not remains to be seen. But what I can say right now is that Craig Porter Jr. is letting his play do the talking. And ultimately, that's what it boils down to. Because I can tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that. Zoe needs to do this, Zoe needs to do that, or Craig Porter Jr. needs to do this and that and the fourth to maintain that position. But you have to let your play do the work. And right now, his impact is being shown out there. Not only and a lot of times it's visible in the stat sheet. It won't always pop up in the scoring department, but the rebounds, the blocks, that's crazy at 6'1", the assist out there, the playmaking, the dribble penetration, something that's not in the traditional box score, but is trackable via NBA.com's tracking data. These are all things that Craig Porter Jr. is affecting the game. And I've loved every single minute of it. Again, I'm a fan of both of these guys. Sucks to see Lonzo on the bench, but I'm happy for Craig Porter Jr. because he has worked his tail off to get to where he is. He's been very, very impressive. Have almost no complaints with Craig Porter Jr. right now. I'm trying to contain myself here because of the setting, obviously, but this was just a very encouraging performance, man. It truly was. You had, I believe, 6 players. I think you had 6 Cavaliers scoring double figures yet again. And it's felt like a common occurrence as of late as the Cavaliers are kind of spreading things around. And this is coming in a game, mind you, where Donovan is scoring 30 plus. It's crazy. But I think that's going to do it for me today, guys. I got to hop up out of here. I appreciate you for being on with me as always. If you want to support the show in a small but helpful way, consider becoming a member over on Patreon or YouTube. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. And even if you don't, your boy will still be here come rain or shine, win or lose, because I love this team and I know you guys do too. Go Cavs.